What's good, everybody? Icon Hip Hop Podcast. It's your boy Soul, and right now we're in Long Beach, California, underneath of an overpass. There's some pretty dope pieces over here, and we're sitting down with a legend. So before we dive deep into the culture and the history of graffiti in LA, I kind of wanted to just ask you when you started and what got you kind of drawn into graffiti.
I like drawing just in general. So I would say I was probably maybe around like 6'5" when I was like into art, not really general like graffiti, but like just art. And then I would say like late 80, like early 90. I had a cousin move down because I was living out here in Long Beach at the time.
Yeah.
And I had a cousin move down from New York, and he was into graffiti, and I didn't know what it was at the time. I was still a little kid, and he moved in with us, and I would say this is like 89 or 90 around that time, and I was probably like I would say maybe I was like 8. I would say like maybe 8 or 9 around that age, and he came down. He just looked a lot different. Was wearing the Kango hat, like the bell. Just had like a whole like b-boy kind of look to him at the time, and I just tripped out on him. I was just like, oh, this is different. It's weird. And I remember one day like we were like walking to the grocery store, and we used to walk down this railroad track, and he did like a little, like I would say probably like a clean like straight letter like 2-color like throw up kind of thing,
Yeah.
And that was like the first time I actually like seen it, like, and it just tripped me out because I didn't know. I was like, is that a sticker? Like how'd you do that? And like I was like wanted to touch it and everything, like, what is this, like. And then that's where like he told me it was pretty much spray paint, and then it just took an interest in me from there. And yeah, that's like where I first like actually seen it and got introduced to it.
So graffiti in LA is pretty unique. I mean, where I come from in Vancouver, it's out there for sure. People are bombing, people are, repelling, and there's some dope ups for sure. But out here, it's just a rich style, rich history. How would you describe the early days of graffiti back in LA?
Dangerous. It was a different time than what it is today, for sure. It was more frowned upon. It wasn't, it didn't look beautiful to to some of the eyes of the public. And it was really vandalism and rebellious. Yeah, it was just different times. You had to like be careful of the neighborhood you were in. Anybody growing up in LA or Southern California knows, like, it's just a lot of history with gang culture, and yeah, you got to know your areas. A lot of different races, a lot of different neighborhoods that been there for generations. And it's just a different playground than New York or like any other city in the States.
Yeah.
And you just gotta learn to maneuver through that. But I would say it was a little dangerous. And you just had to watch out for the police because, of course, they weren't having it either.
Do you find the police give a fuck as much as they do?
They don't give a fuck right now, really. I don't know what it is or what's going on. But in LA right now, it's a fucking it's pretty much a free for all. I never seen it at the time, my whole lifetime, like growing up and living out here, how it is like right now. I've been seen by the police straight doing graffiti and they just drive by, or they'll just tell me like wait till they leave or some shit. But it's different. Yeah,
It's just so much they don't even care.
Yeah, it's different.
That's crazy, bro.
Streets are active, and I don't know. I think it might be because they're about to do a huge cleanup too. You know, I think they're just letting it just go wild till they're about to just probably try, or at least try to do a cleanup in LA, because that's going to be pretty hard to do. But for the Olympics and stuff coming up later on, I'm pretty sure they're gonna do it. I don't know. I really just don't know what it is, because I never seen it this lenient ever. You know? But at the same time, I mean, even just the art form of graffiti is looked different now. You know, like it's kind of like in a commercial level where corporations are using it for branding and stuff like that. So yeah, it just it's different.
That's pretty dope, though. What do you think is the difference between vandalism and then, let's say, graffiti? If that's a compare, like, there's the writers that, like, they take pride in piecing. Yeah. And there's the trained writers. Yeah. And then there's just the ignorant, don't give a fuck, let's go load up the backpacks and hit the streets writers. Yeah.
There's I would say that all falls in the category of graffiti. Yeah. Like all of it. Yeah. And I think you have to have a little touch of everything if you're doing it, like starting off doing like tagging and bombing and like just going wild, and then at a point you want to make your own style and be like recognized, so you get into like cleaning up your letterings or your pieces or whatever it is that you do. Yeah. And I don't know, I think there's levels to it. I mean, I'm pretty old right now, and people probably like my age probably think I'm stupid for still even being in this, but it's a culture to me, and it's something that I run with really deep. And at this point in my life, I just do it for myself now. Like it's just something that just gives me peace.
It's very therapeutic.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You got shit going on in life, whatever. You pick up your bag and go find a wall and just forget about all the shit going on and just you and the cans and bada boom, bada bing.
Yeah.
So we drove from Vancouver. It was quite the drive. We stopped in Portland. We checked out Burnside Skate Park. We checked out some of the alleys around there, and then even in Seattle and Oakland. And as soon as we came into LA, that's when I noticed the style completely change. It like a lot more cleaner here. Yeah. Definitely like a lot more just cleaner outlines and shit. There is still some wild style for sure, but like I've noticed everything just seems to me more cleaner. So what can you say about the history of graffiti in LA and how it's evolved over time with style and shit like that?
Oh man, there's so many like that. Like I was influenced by so many writers out here, like a lot, and I don't know, it just LA just has its own distinctive style and lettering and structure, I think, and with that like style, like it's upon the artist to take it on themselves and do their touch to it. But growing up, like just like even like went from tags, like the tags, even certain styles, like you could tell like if someone had a good hand style, even a gangbanger. Yeah. Like I would see some gang writing, I'll be like, damn, this dude has like some pretty clean styles. Like it's like something you could like recognize like with another writer that's into styles and just either tags, pieces, or anything. Like it's something like that. I don't know, like it's hard to explain with LA in general too, because like I would say New York had a lot of, like a big influence on us growing up, you know, seeing like the Wild Styles and or the Style War documentaries and like Beat Street and stuff like that. But just living out here and just taking that like what they were doing and then like everything around us and throwing our swag into it, it became something just dope.
Yeah.
You know, dope. Like even like the LTSs, they started like a whole different thing with style, you know, like to this day that I see a lot of people, you know, jumped on that kind of like wave, you know?
Yeah.
And like anytime I see, I like when I see that, I know that's them, you know, that came from them, you know, like stuff like, you know, just shit like that, like just growing up. And that's what I like too, like, is someone creating a style and you can, like anybody can identify it.
Very distinctive.
Even if you don't even know the person, you know, just by their work, you know?
Yeah.
And I think nowadays it's kind of losing focus or like losing touch of that, you know, like people do like a lot of fonts and like big, you know, rollers and stuff like that. It's cool, but it tends to be like all the same, you know, like the same, like you could tell like certain people out just from their style, you know, right away, from a distance, whatever it is. And yeah, like LA definitely has its own style and its crispiness, sharp, like just weird, like I would say like if the letters are moving, you know, like if the letters are fucking, yeah, like
shit.
Like either sharp or like rounded, whatever it is, like I think LA has a good structure with letter styles.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful to see, man. I fuck.
And even from the, you know, even the gang writings, you know, they would do the Old English and, you know, scripture letters, like it's all clean, like everything. I don't know, like it's a lot of you could tell there's a lot of heart into it, you know.
Yeah, I've noticed that for sure since we've been down here. Now graffiti is obviously one of the 4 elements of hip hop, and specifically here in LA, it's a very big part of hip hop. Same with New York, of course.
Yeah.
How do you see graffiti fitting into hip hop culture, especially in LA?
For me, it was something I just grew up into. So I mean, there's a debate with it, but I mean, within hip hop, graffiti is definitely a part of the culture, you know. Within graffiti itself is a whole nother world, you know, like within like the graffiti culture, because, you know, you got punks that do graffiti, you know, you got like Scene and a couple other writers out there. They weren't never into hip hop since the gate, you know, and it wasn't their thing. They were just graph writers. So like graffiti itself is a culture, but with hip hop, we do claim graffiti, you know. So I could see it as that way, you know. Me growing up personally, I think it's you know, big part of hip hop, but you know, as I got older and like, you know, grew up with different kind of people, like that's where I would, you know, realize that, oh shit, you know, graph is so far out than just hip hop, you know. It goes out as far, you know, as people that don't even like even think of it that way that love to do graffiti, you know. So
yeah, no, because we were at that DMC battle, the DJ battle. We happened to run in Babu. We were fortunate enough to chat with him for a while, chat with a few other legends that were in the building, and you were pretty much the only writer at that spot painting that little little shack thing. Yeah. How did you get involved with that? And you know, clearly that's a massive hip hop event. A lot of hip hop heads were there. How'd you get involved with that one?
Someone, you know, like I grew up with some of my peers that I grew up with. they are now like promoting those shows and hosting it. So yeah, I just pretty much been tied in with a lot of hip hop events. Really, that's just from growing up and connecting with people that stayed true to what they've been doing since the gate. And this is the outcome. Like we're doing like DMCs and festivals and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's just good connection and networking that I always just been a part of. Just showing up to places, try to go as many events as possible.
Yeah.
And meeting people.
Connecting. That's important, man.
Connecting with people.
That's important.
And even believing in people too when they're just starting too, because a lot of the cats we're just barely starting out, and now they're in good positions where they got like good network contacts, all that, and it's dope to see that like as we get older, because we got the power to get everybody together and do some really dope shit.
Yeah.
And everything from DJs, from graph writers, from MCs to everything around. There's a lot of key figures and key people that are still in it and still do the work.
Yeah, that's something that we really like to focus on is cypher culture. You said you scrolled through the Instagram, you've seen some of the videos of what we do in Vancouver. And
dope.
like you said, just bringing people together, having that community, the consistency of the community, something for people an outlet for people to express themselves, whether it's graffiti or in the circle of a cypher. I just wanted to touch on the cypher real quick. What is a cypher to you, and what do you think its importance is in this culture?
Man, a cypher, that's I think it's like a meeting of the minds, like whether it's battling, whether it's freestyling, or just breaking, whatever it is, like I think it's just a circle of light.
Yeah.
Like it's just everybody coming together and just expressing like their true selves and trying to be the best at it. It's dope, man. It gives a good not even like good, it gives a high energy. Like if anybody really been to ciphers, or even like, because I don't rap or anything, I'll just go and just listen, and just being there and present, that shit, like it's really like electrified.
Yeah.
Yeah,
me and Ghetto Fab always refer to like a drug.
Yeah.
Like we get that high, when someone really crushes it at the cypher, and everyone's jaws dropped and everyone's bumping up and down. Like we get this fucking high out of it where it's just addicting. We're like, we can never get enough. We just try to throw the next biggest cypher. Back to graffiti. Do you think graffiti should belong in like university courses?
I mean, it would be cool. I mean, I do some workshops recently with the kids through this nonprofit that one of my homegirls coordinates, and we teach all the elements to kids, but like the basicest way to do it,
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it's something that you really just have to be there and just feel, like you could learn about it. You could, it's dope to do the research, but I think to really, really do it, you have to be true and living it, just like bear witnessing it right there.
Just how you did for your first time.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think, and I say that'd be like the best way to even like master any kind of craft that anybody's doing, is just keep doing it till it becomes easy for you.
Yeah.
I mean, like in any job or anything you do, if you do something every day or keep doing it constantly, it just becomes so easy.
Second nature.
A routine that is just so easy to do. Like it just becomes like part of you. And I think that's what like something like with me personally, like with like my graffiti, I don't even like doing letters. Like I never liked doing letters. I was always like into characters, and just being involved with graffiti, I was kind of like forced to like do letters and fucking, you know, pretty much like learn it and do it. So after doing it for a while, like you just like get used to it and it just becomes something. But
yeah. So one of the most famous spots I want to say worldwide right now is the high rises downtown LA, pretty much right in the heart of downtown. I was in Vancouver taking a shit in the morning and I was on Instagram and I seen this drone footage of all these pieces on these balconies, and I thought it was like photoshopped at first. I didn't even know what it was. And then I looked into it and I seen like these buildings were abandoned for about 4 years prior, correct?
Yeah.
So like, you know, coming from the city standpoint, it's like, what do you expect? You know what I mean? Like you leave these places abandoned. There's tons of writers coming through here. Obviously someone's going to do something there. So there's a lot of different levels of graffiti when we talk about low risk and high risk, you know, people painting alleys, painting trucks, and then the trains, and then there's like these underground underneath bridge spots, and then there's the high risk spots, right, where people are getting rappelling gear, hanging off the side of buildings, 30-foot rollers, shit like that. So, you know, I think the adrenaline is also part of the addictive nature of the graffiti, you know, feeling that adrenaline rush and being able to go up there and paint those pieces. What's the story behind that building, and how did that become such an iconic spot?
That building is like any spot in LA. Like it just was put for the world to see, you know, because it was like a high rise. So, but every spot in LA is like that. You know what I mean? You're good, homie. You're good.
No, you good, bro?
Every spot in LA is like that. You know, like it'll start off with one person. You know, someone will see it. We'll figure out it's open, and then next thing you know, shit is crushed. That goes for like abandoned buildings, yards, you know, just like certain spots around the city that we'll find out that, oh, this spot's open. It'll start with one person, and then next thing you know, like the whole city's getting it. And there's been a lot of spots like that, like even like pretty big buildings in downtown. But that spot was just like across the street from the Staples Center, you know, like right in the middle of everything. Well, it's the crypto arena now, but like it was just around like everything, like in the middle of downtown, and it was huge, you know.
Crazy, bro.
Skyscrapers. So yeah, I heard it, and I kept seeing it on my feed like all the time, and I went by there once, and that shit looked like a graffiti convention. There was like a shitload of heads there. Yeah, like all across the street in the parking lot, like every corner of it, you could just tell like they're all writers and they're all mobbing in it, like they're going in there. So at the time, I was like, damn, like everybody, you know, was on it. You know, it was like literally like an amusement park.
It's like a 3-day period too, where it was just covered,
got crushed. Yeah,
crazy. And now you go past there, it's like a prison.
Yeah, and
dude,
yeah, like even when we got it too, like we went when it was raining, so like it was like a big storm too, and I got off of work. It was like late, and I was like, man, fuck, I'm gonna hit up the homie Shucks, and then we're like, I was like, you want to go? I was like, I'm about to roll out. He's like, fuck it. So we just went. We get there, and there's still cops. There's cops there when we got there. They're like, they shined the light on us and everything, but they weren't mobbing it into the building, you know. So I was like, fuck it. Like if they don't say shit, just keep walking, and if you see a hole, jump in it. So they lit us up like every spot we were walking to, and then finally we saw like a little hole in the fence, and we just jumped right in that bitch, and then it was like a whole city in there, and it's huge. Fucking climbed up. I was all winded out and shit, about to puke, and finally just got on whatever floor we were at, and then it was cool. Like it was chill. Like when we're up there, it was just cool, quiet, fucking
Wow.
just chill. It was raining like a motherfucker, but it wasn't hitting the side we're on.
Yeah.
And we just fucking just chilled there, did our thing, and then mobbed out, and then like I don't know, it just felt like just another regular spot, you know.
Yeah.
And then like by the time we left, and then like we're gone, and we're just like, I think they shut it down like the next day or some shit. They just fucking locked it up. The cops were actually going in there and shit. So we got lucky and got it right before fucking they locked it down.
Wow.
But it was dope. Like it was cool. Like I said, it felt like another spot, but like now that we think about it, you know, it's like that's a part of like that's gonna be a part of LA history for like a long time, you know.
Yeah.
Like nothing ever got
Graffiti history. Honestly,
graffiti.
like,
Yeah, you're right, because that shit
seen anything like that.
that shit got coverage all over the world, you know.
Yeah.
And I see my shit on the news a few times too. Just to trip, you know. Like I was like how like something like that could like make it bigger, and like it's weird because even like people like my aunt or something would be like, "Oh, you did it! Oh, like that's so cool!" You know, like when back then it would have been like, "Oh, what are you doing up there?" You know, like it's like I said, it's more accepting, you know. So, but I don't know, that shit wasn't really, you know, it wasn't really. I don't feel like it wasn't too big of a deal. I just felt like it was cool. Like I'm glad, cool, we got it, and you know, on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, you're lucky for getting in there right before it got locked down.
Yeah.
No, that's dope, man. I love that shit, man. Just like, you know, obviously people want to get up, but there's a lot of different motives with that kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't imagine being up there just like you said, it's just quiet. You're just painting, and you look down, and it's like,
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That is definitely would be a highlight for me. Every artist has their inspirations. You know, do you want to shout some people out who kind of inspired you?
Yeah, man. I mean, I got inspired by a lot of, like I said, a lot of heads out there. Twist, you know, Twist was one of my favorite writers. I would say my homie Shucks too. He inspired me a lot growing up. You know, I known him since I was probably like 13, 14.
This homie.
Yeah. So yeah, we known each other since like the 90s. You know, my crew inspires me. ACK. My other crew in TDS too, a lot of them cats inspire me. And Hex too, I would give it up to Hex, Mirror out here. They definitely inspired me when I was a young cat, you know, like you could see it in my art for sure.
So you've painted cities all over the world. I've seen your shit in New York. What is it like painting those spots, man? Like how does the culture differ place to place?
It's dope. I go to the East Coast a lot, so that's starting to get like a little bit more familiar with me. But yeah, I love it, man. Just meeting new people from different areas too is always good. So you know, we got that connection. Like whenever I go out of town, I could hit someone up, and they could like, you know, pretty much like take me around or show me what's good and what's not, you know. So it's always good to make those connections with people all around. And
yeah, it must be dope, but just seeing your shit in other cities too, right?
Yeah, man, just traveling.
There's only one writer I've seen from Vancouver out here. He writes Hoser.
Okay.
He's got a spot down by the overpass down there, but I haven't really seen too many Vancouver writers in the States, to be honest. There's a pretty big crew in Vancouver, the 90s crew.
Okay.
And they're fucking worldwide. Like, we're talking China, Thailand, fucking UK, shit like that, right? And then there's a really famous writer in Vancouver, actually, Smokey D, and Smokey Devil. And the city of Vancouver has completely given him his own day. So there's now a Smokey D Day. And he's got the key to the city. And he's just someone that grew up on the streets. He still lives on the streets. You know, he's an active, user. And he helps out the community like crazy, bro. Because, like, during the pandemic, too, like, not a lot of people down on, like, I guess you could say Skid Row or Hastings, Main and Hastings. Not a lot of people had access to news and updates for the pandemic or whatever the case may be. So Smokey would go out and he would write, like, poems or just like paragraphs of the regulations, and he would draw these nurses with the masks on, and his main thing is characters, right? And dope. Especially in Vancouver, we have one of the highest overdose rates in North America, and whenever someone passes away on the streets, he'll go up and paint their face and do a portrait of them, a little mural with their date they're born to the date they died. And you walk down the street with Smokey and everyone knows Smokey, man. He's a legend, and he's the one who actually did our logo for the Icon Hip Hop group. That's right dope. So we just met up with him, he did his thing, and we took a picture of that, digitalized it, and then next thing you know, that's our logo. Is there anyone out here like that, Smokey D kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm sure every city has one too, but I mean, to think off the bat, I can't name anyone exactly, But yeah, like I'm sure there's some cats out there like that. But that's dope, man. That's really dope. Is he still around and stuff? Like,
yeah, he's still up, man. He's still up quite often. He's pretty active.
That's dope. That's really dope.
I seen you you were able to gift Redman a canvas or something.
Oh yeah. We had a art show back in the summer of 2021, and I actually curated this art tour, and we drove all the way to New York, and we did different stops on the way up there, and that was actually our last stop was in Brooklyn, and we did a show out there, and I had this MF Doom. It was like the mask, but it was on a wood board. And I painted it, and I pretty much did a bunch of tags of his songs on the mask. So it was kind of like I call it the vandalized mask. And my homie Terry, he's good friends with Redman. He like sent him the pic. And then he's like, oh, like, I guess he texts back like, yo, that's dope. And then he ended up buying it. My homie Terry did. And then he's like, I'm going to give it to Redman. I was like, oh, for real? I was like, oh, shit, that's dope, I didn't really think anything of it. I came back home. I'll say like a few months later, he sends me a picture with, he's like, yeah, I finally gave it to Redman. He liked it a lot.
That's dope.
I was like, oh, man, that's really dope,
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was cool, man. That was a good moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Just knowing that he has one of my pieces in his spot.
Put that up in the stew or something.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he does. But yeah, he has it.
Dope, bro. So, I mean, I don't really know what it's like to consider someone an OG, but I would refer to you as an OG in the game, especially in LA graffiti. What do you hope to leave behind with your legacy for the younger generation of writers coming up?
Just pretty much just don't quit. If just put your heart into it and just don't quit. Also, like I'm trying to build a brand too. I've been working on a lot of merchandise, and that's something I want to leave with my family. When I go to the next, the next realm. But yeah, like I definitely want to leave like a lot of art and a brand that will carry on the art and take care of my family.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, that's beautiful, man. Well, I don't know. We could wrap it up here. Is there anything else you want to let the people know out there? Any other things you want to say?
Yeah, just check me out, Kenos One, Kenos1.com or at Kenos One, KENOSONE, and just be righteous, just be cool, and don't fuck around.